tonight on Open Mic Night of the Living Dead, we're discussing our favorite horror movie from each of the last 25 years.
The creature's creeping right behind you. I hope you finally find a little slice of peace and light. 'Cause it comes crashing down tonight. Welcome to the open mic. When we call your name, you'll die. But there's no need to dread. This is the open mic night of the living dead.
All right.
Okay.
This sounds like fun.
It does sound like fun. I had more fun than I anticipated setting this list up.
Yeah, sometimes we bounce around different ideas for the sort of the encore episodes, and I thought it'd be fun to do this. Take a look back at the last 25 years since we're a quarter century into this century. That's right? Math?
Yes. I think we've just completed the first quarter century, although I do believe that 25 is technically part of the second quarter century because the year 2000 was the...
No, I disagree because
Really?
I think 01 is the first year of the century. 2000 is the last year.
I'm not sure who's right, but luckily I'm not competitive, so we can both be right.
Either way, we are going to be starting in 2001 and working our way up through 2005, which if you listen to last week's episode, I think you'll know what our 2005 pick is.
2025?
Yes.
You just said 2005 so confidently, and I didn't want to ruin it. But that was great. Through 2025, so there's going to be 25 movies.
I graduated from college in 2005. Maybe that's why I got stuck.
That's fair. I graduated from college 2003. I forget what a baby you are.
Yep.
All right. So, which means in 2001, we were both in college.
And
Oh, wait, I'm Rachel.
I'm John. We got married after Rachel picked me up at a bar.
I did do that. Not physically. I would end up in the hospital if I tried to do that.
What are you
But
trying to say?
that I have a really bad back.
I was skinnier then.
Even so, I have a really bad back.
All right.
It has nothing to do with your weight.
Either way, we're going to go through, give our top pick. These are our favorites. They're not objective, what we think is the best horror movie from each year. And, to get through this in a reasonable amount of time, we're not going to go too in depth, but we encourage you, or at least I encourage you, to check out some of these movies if you have not seen them yet.
Yes, and I will say that for some of these, I may not have picked my absolute favorite based on ranking, but some of these movies I haven't thought of in years and really wanted to bring up. So these are perhaps our favorite, not necessarily by ranking, but by interest, and especially now after a few years of really diving deep into the genre, movies that I loved back then that I kind of would love to see with a new eye now.
Right. And I think when I was, depending on the year, there were probably different reasons why I picked certain movies. And sometimes the movie might have meant something to me at that time, or it might have been my big movie then, or what have you, or it might be looking back. Now I've got a big favorite from that year. But anyway.
Cool.
What was your pick for 2001?
2001, I picked Frailty.
Oh, that's one I have not seen yet.
So this is wild. This was directed by Bill Paxton, which I did not know, but it stars Bill Paxton and Matthew McConaughey. I don't want to say too much about it, except I loved this movie in college. I owned this movie on VHS and would play it for people who came over for movie nights in my dorm room. So Frailty, Matthew McConaughey, really cool early kind of horror movie from him. So we should add that to our list, dear. I would love to watch it with my eyes 25 years later.
And I definitely, when I was looking at lists for horror movies in 2001, I saw that on there. Many lists, so.
And I think I've forgotten, it used to be on my top. It was one, if you asked me, what movie should I watch? I'd be like, oh, Frailty, it's so good. But I think it's kind of a sleeper. So I think we should rewatch. I also might be wrong that was 25 years ago. So we should watch it again.
Well, and my pick for 2000.
I know.
What?
Sorry. I think I know what your movie is.
What is it?
No, now I don't want to say it. Sorry.
Well, I want to see if you know it.
I was thinking it was, is it Donnie Darko?
Of course.
That's why I said I know so confidently, but then you challenged me and I was like, maybe I got it
And
wrong.
what I was going to say before I was so rudely cut off
Sorry.
is that it's one of my all-time favorite movies. And I think it can go either way. You know, some people might argue it's not a horror, but I would disagree. It's definitely a psychological horror. It's got some wacky time stuff and some crazy psychological, supernatural elements. And it's ambiguous. There's two versions. The theatrical cut, I think, is the way to go, but the director's cut is great as well.
I don't know who owns the rights, but I'd be surprised if we didn't get a 25-year anniversary edition physical copy this year. Keep an eye out for that.
That would be nice. I always need more versions.
Always.
What about 2002?
My favorite was 28 Days Later.
That was close to mine. I picked The Ring.
That was one of my runners-up.
And we've talked about 28 Days Later, I think, quite a bit. And The Ring, I think, goes pretty much without saying on what to expect with that. I think that came along at the right time. Horror movies at that time were sort of riding the high of Scream and all of those. And this kind of took things in a little bit darker direction.
Yeah, completely. So I saw The Ring twice the same day in the movie theater because I was in college. So I took the bus to the mall where the movie theater was and watched The Ring in the morning. And I loved it so much. I went back in the afternoon, snuck some Taco Bell in my bag and watched it a second time. This is the same movie I saw Final Destination 2 in for the first time, and the same theater that I also saw Lord of the Rings 9 times.
So if you saw The Ring in the theater in 2002 somewhere in Massachusetts, and you heard some jerk face crunching on some tacos,
It was me.
that was Rachel. Always bringing class to the movie theater.
There was a Taco Bell at the food court at the mall. Like, how could you not?
Fair enough. What was your 2003?
High Tension.
That's what I picked.
Oh, nice. We really like this movie.
Yeah, and this is newer to me. A newer watch. I've watched it in the last couple of years. And to me, it's definitely a standout from that year. I almost picked the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake because I really enjoyed that when it came out. I still enjoy it now. And that probably back then, that was the movie I was favoring at that time. But High Tension takes the prize.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I had, actually, for runners-up, I had House of a Thousand Corpses also came out that year, which I think that's a great movie that we could talk about as well. But High Tension, as far as how it makes me feel when I think about it, that was the one that popped to the top.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I had House of a Thousand Corpses as a runner-up as well. Both that movie and Devil's Rejects are probably my two favorite Rob Zombie directed horror films.
Yeah, Devil's Rejects for sure. How about 2004?
Dawn of the Dead remake was
nice.
my pick from that year. And I think I don't remember if I saw it in the theater. I think I very well might have. But that movie just really caught my attention when it came out. And of course, I was pretty big into the horror genre at that time. Between horror and Tarantino, those were kind of the movies I was seeking out at that time. And
It's Dawn of the Dead, The Mall.
yes.
Okay, thank you. I do remember it when it came out.
With Sarah Polley, Ving Rhames.
Yes, I remember it vividly, but I can never keep the names straight, as you know, on this franchise. And so I'm always hesitant to say, oh, yes, that one. But yes, I know exactly which one that is.
And this was sort of the era of the remakes, starting kind of with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, as we mentioned in 2003. But I think the Dawn of the Dead remake was really solid, really stands up. The visuals for me is a little weaker now that I've gone back and rewatched it. Just the quality of the film, but maybe I watched a bad transfer. But otherwise, the movie's awesome. And you picked Shaun of the Dead.
Yes, I did. I love you so much.
Which is one of my runners-up, but
Yeah, you knew that was going to be it. Yeah, Shaun of the Dead. Look, zombie comedy is one of my favorite micro subgenres. I Absolutely love it. So, of course, Shaun of the Dead, directed by Edgar Wright, starring Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, would be at the top of my list. I did have a couple runners up, though, but Saw also came out this year, right? So that was another really big one. But I think for me, my personal taste in horror, I'm always going to lean towards the more black comedy, satirical, meta kind of stuff, whereas Saw, I like it, but a little more, yeah, that was my runner-up.
Yeah, I had Shaun of the Dead and Saw as runners-up for me. I saw in the movie theater, I think on Halloween,
Ooh.
potentially. That's my memory, and you might go look it up and see it was not in the theater at that time or something. I didn't get the exact release date, but I just remember being blown away especially by the ending of the original Saw movie. So it made my runners-up list, but...
That's great.
What did you have for 2005?
Actually, forgot about this, but The Devil's Rejects.
Oh.
Because I remember very vividly, I saw this movie with my cousin who was living in the same area as me at the time. And I remember leaving the theater and saying, that was a film. It was actually a really pivotal moment for my understanding of horror as a genre. Way before the internet had all these other people who liked horror, I already had been into, I had already seen a lot of horror movies, but this one for me, I just remember being really blown away by it. I don't know if that holds up now 20 years later, and I've seen so many other horror movies that, this was before elevated horror, and I wouldn't call Devil's Rejects elevated in any way, but I think I'm just going to try and guess kind of, it hit me on more levels than just the shock and awe of other movies. The character development, I think, in that movie goes deeper than, for example, House of a Thousand Corpses. And I just remember leaving the theater being like, that was a film. I very distinctly remember saying that to my cousin. So obviously, I was also 24 in 2005. And so I didn't have nearly as much experience in articulating what makes me love a movie. But I would love to go back and watch it again. What about your 2005? It obviously was not The Devil's Rejects.
No, and I also want to mention that Rachel and I we haven't discussed our lists at this point, but we did discuss that when we were doing some of the research for this, that we came across some movies that had basically multiple release years. And what we tried to do was stick to like the United States theatrical release. Some movies debuted in other countries sooner, or some movies also played at some festivals and stuff the year before that they came out. So we tried our best to stick to the U.S. theatrical release dates. And my pick for 2005, after having said that, was The Descent.
That was the runner-up for me, for sure.
And we talked about that plenty in our deep dive. What did you have for 2006? It was a weird year.
It was a weird year. I picked The Host.
That's what I picked as well.
Awesome. Of all the ones that came out, I did pick The Host, which is a Korean movie directed by Bong Joon-ho. It's a monster movie, but also a family movie. I mean, it's not a family movie, but like...
No, don't watch it with your children.
Don't. But it is a story about family, too. And so it has kind of some of those layers that we really appreciate. And great special effects, I thought, for 20 years ago. We just watched that this year, didn't we? Didn't we rewatch The Host this year?
Yes, we rewatched it. And for those of you keeping score at home, Bong Joon-ho was the director of Parasite back in 2018, I think, when it won
Best Picture
and everything. So definitely a director who knows how to make solid film. And I picked The Host. I did have The Hills Have Eyes remake as a runner-up, which I only watched for the first time sometime in 2025. It makes me want to go back and rewatch the original as well, but that was pretty solid. And then another movie that was a runner-up for me was When a Stranger Calls, which was also a remake. And that was definitely the movie that I was into around that time. I liked the house that it took place in, and she did a lot of running around, being chased around and all that stuff. So it had some good tension and excitement.
The Hills Have Eyes is also The Hills Have Eyes remake was directed by Alexandre Aja, who also does High Tension.
Right.
And Hills Have Eyes remake, warning, a film I have a hard time watching because there is some pretty intense and graphic assault scenes in that, which...
I think if you went back and rewatched it, I mean, there is some of that. I don't think it's as It might have
hit me
struck
hard
you
then.
more. Yeah.
Maybe because I was around the same age as the girls in the van or in the camper. But it was that just FYI for those who are sensitive to that, just prep yourself. But that was also on my runner-up list for 2006. What about 2007?
2007, there's some really strong choices.
Mm-hmm.
And there's two that are almost tied for me. Three. I would say that all three that I have on my list here are strong, but I put Trick or Treat in my top spot. That just wins my heart. Every time I watch it, it's fun, it's ridiculous, but it keeps moving and it's got so much going on. It really is sort of a diamond in the rough kind of movie. If you have not seen Trick or Treat, then I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I chose Rec.
Nice.
Which is...
That was one of my three.
Yeah, which is a Spanish language found footage. I don't enjoy found footage generally, but Rec was so good that I didn't notice. So I think if you haven't seen Rec, it is found footage in an apartment building. It's in Spanish, so there's subtitles, but man, oh man, is that a tight little movie. Like, it just keeps you going the whole time. There's always exceptions to my subgenre dislikes, which include found footage and haunted houses, and Rec is one of those. I also runnered up The Mist, man.
That was
because holy smokes, that movie, and I just guts you.
Really well done version of a Stephen King story. You know, the quality of Stephen King adaptations varies dramatically.
Widely.
I feel like the last 20 years we've been lucky that they've all been stronger more consistently.
Agreed.
I'm not sure if The Mist really started that trend. Who was the director on this?
Frank Darabont.
Yes. Who famously directed Shawshank Redemption as well, another Stephen King adaptation. Very different movie.
Very.
But if you've read the short story, it's a great adaptation with some surprising twists that were approved by Mr. King himself.
By Stephen King, who said he prefers that version, but also, I would say don't watch it with your kid, but our kid didn't seem that bummed out by it.
Yeah.
So.
And there's also a black and white version. I highly recommend it. You haven't seen that yet.
I haven't. I forgot about that.
I really enjoyed it in black and white, and I think that it softens some of the computer effects as well.
Cool.
It actually makes those fit in a bit better now that time has gone on.
Interesting.
I don't think the effects were terrible by any means, but I think that they're less distracting in 2025 eyes at this point. But what did you have for 2008?
I picked The Ruins.
Oh, we just watched that this year.
We did watch that this year. That is one I had never really heard of before, but some tourists are visiting an ancient Mayan ruin and they run into some trouble. Things go awry, you might say. And I was surprised at how much fun this was, and I didn't really know it very well. I think it was well done, interesting concept, not anything I've really seen before. And yeah, good time all around if you haven't seen The Ruins from 2008.
For my 2008 pick, I went with Cloverfield.
That was one of my runners up.
What's funny is I forget how much I like this movie until I rewatch it. And then the most recent time I watched it, I think I watched it once in 2025. I was pretty blown away by how epic it was. And it's just really strong. It's in the found footage genre, but it's like a blockbuster found footage, which I don't know if it was sort of the first of that kind, really, but it definitely is still strong. Great story. It really, once the action starts, it never stops.
I watched that for the first time with you, but it was not within the last 3 years. So I don't know when we watched it, but I did watch it with you for the first time and was surprised because of my general not liking of found footage all that much. It didn't bother me, kind of like Rec. Like, it was the world building was really compelling. I think that's one of the things it shares with Rec. And yeah, really couldn't take your eyes off it once it got started.
What'd you have for 2009?
2009. So I went with Orphan because I love that movie. I really enjoy that movie. I don't remember when I saw it for the first time. It must have been close to when it came out, but I just think it's a really great story, well told, good acting, and just a wicked little tale. And I wanted to make sure we got to talk about it. So Orphan, I have not seen the sequel yet. I don't really want to because I like the first one so much.
I'm surprised you didn't pick The Loved Ones.
I know, and that's my runner-up, but I didn't pick The Loved Ones because I wanted to talk about Orphan. So,
Fair enough.
but The Loved Ones was my favorite movie that we watched in 2024. Sean Byrne, obviously, that is but there's a couple other really good ones that came out this year too.
I went with maybe a bit of a surprise, but I went with The House of the Devil by Ty West.
That is a surprise. That didn't even make my runners-up list.
I've got to, I don't know. I have a very strong fondness for that movie, even though it's pretty low key and a very slow burn, but it's almost like a comfort movie for me. If I wasn't trying to bang out watching so many new horror movies, I probably would rewatch this one more.
Huh. And I've watched that with you, and I don't think I have the same response to it, but I wonder if I would now, after a couple years of really going deep on this stuff.
And this one's usually streaming somewhere like Prime or something. So if you haven't seen The House of the Devil and you're in the mood for a slow burn, it's definitely a slow burn, but it's a really well done slow burn. And it's not only does it take place in the late 70s, early 80s, I can't remember exactly when, but it's shot as if it was shot at that time. And Ty West does a masterful job of pulling that off.
It's on Prime and AMC Plus right now, as well as Tubi Plex and Fandango, the free version.
Told
so
you.
You should be able to watch it somewhere right now.
And aside from The Loved Ones, my other runner-up was Jennifer's Body.
Yeah, that's one I thought would show up on your list. Also, Drag Me to Hell came out that year.
I still haven't come around to Drag Me to Hell.
Interesting.
But I'm open and willing to love that movie. I just don't yet. Jennifer's Body is one that raises in my esteem every time we watch it.
Fair. Yeah.
So.
I agree. 2009, surprisingly good year for some fun horror movies.
2010?
Tucker and Dale vs. Evil.
I missed that.
Yeah.
I might have picked it.
We watched Clown in a Cornfield this year. We talked about that. That came out this year, right? Which I don't like as much as I like Tucker and Dale vs. Evil.
Did I tell you about the movie I'm making?
No.
It's called Corn in the Clownfield.
Oh, perfect.
It's terrifying. Just
a
stalks full of clowns and one very nervous ear of corn.
Oh my. I can't wait.
Look for that in 2031, everyone.
2031.
Corn in the Clownfield.
Amazing.
Sorry, continue.
No, Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. It is another horror comedy, which is one of my favorite subgenres, as we know. But
really
also
well done.
Really well done. Alan Tudyk, who's just a delight in literally everything he's in. It is a comedy of errors. It plays on all of our summer camp, Hicks in the Woods tropes. Really well done and just such a fun time. I think we watched that again this year. I forgot how much I liked that movie, but yeah, that's my 2010. What about you?
For 2010, I picked Insidious.
Oh, yes.
And I think there are definitely some stronger movies from this year, like my runner-up Black Swan is absolute masterpiece of a movie in its genre.
100%.
But Insidious came out at the right time. I always forget that it came out before other movies that are sort of in its genre, which I've got another one coming up here in a couple of years to tell you about. But Insidious, I like that genre. I don't always seek it out, sort of the supernatural haunted house adjacent movies. But whenever I watch them, I'm always compelled by them, and they're often the kind of movie that scare me the most. This one is not my favorite in the genre, but I remember at that time seeing it soon after it came out and really being struck by it.
I know we watched it, but I have very little memory of it, and I think it's because it is the kind of movie I do not like in that genre, right? Like it's more haunting and jump scary and building the tension. And I think I remember those movies less well because I am in fight or flight the whole time we're watching them. So I don't keep them, I don't process them the same way. But yeah, I had forgotten about that.
2011 was another strong year. What was your pick?
I went with You're Next.
That's what I picked.
Because we really like that movie. We've seen it. We saw it when it came out, close to when it came out.
We weren't dating.
We weren't dating. I know. We were dating a couple years after that. But I think we watched it very early on because I remember the TV was in that particular corner of my apartment when we had just started dating. And so that's where I'm gesturing right now to where the TV was relative to where we watched it. You're Next, directed by Adam Wingard, who's done a couple of other movies we've enjoyed. Really cool, stuck in a house movie, but with lots of unexpected things, some really funny dialogue, great characters. It kind of goes, You're Next and Ready or Not would probably make like a good little group together.
I feel like I've done that before.
I feel like you might have too. But yeah, I love You're Next, man.
I thought you might have picked one of my runners-up, which was The Cabin in the Woods.
That is my first runner-up. It is. Also another really good meta horror movie, comedy. I had two others that year, though, that I want to bring up. The Innkeepers was that year.
Another Ty West. And then...
And
Ty West was in You're Next.
Oh, that's right. He was. I just remembered. Oh, that's so funny.
And he plays a director, like a snobby documentary director. Well, maybe he's not snobby. Really, the family's snobby in judging him, but he's also, I don't know. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's really great. I had forgotten that he was in that. And then also, we have almost never talked about this movie, but Red State by Kevin Smith. Have you seen that?
I can't remember. I don't think that I've seen it, and I will.
I think it's horror adjacent. I'm not sure it exactly qualifies as horror, but it's in there. But it's kind of a step away from a lot of Kevin Smith's other movies, and it doesn't get talked about as much. But I saw it and wanted to mention it. I remember I really enjoyed it when it came out. So
my other runner-up for that year, I just want to mention it because some people might not know about it. Film from the UK called Attack the Block.
Oh, man, that was a great movie.
That's a really fun, exciting sci-fi horror.
Yes.
And if you haven't seen it and you see it streaming somewhere, I highly recommend you check it out.
Super fun. Like a really fun romp of a movie.
What did you have for 2012?
I picked Sinister.
Wow, that surprises me.
I know, but...
That's what I picked as well.
Well, and Sinister is a bit of a haunted house movie, but it has a supernatural... But it's not, I don't know. It scared the crap out of me. And of course, Sinister is like one of the scariest movies, right? Based on heart rate. Didn't it get
some
that
sort of test? Who
appellation?
Knows?
But it's one of the only movies that's made me sleep with the lights on in the last 3.5 years. But I still really liked it. I like the story a lot. I like folklore and I like sad stories with satisfying and I thought it was really good.
Is that Scott Derrickson?
It is Scott Derrickson.
Who's now better known probably for the Black Phone movies.
Right. Also with Ethan Hawke, who is in this. But I remember liking Sinister more than Black Phone, but I'd have to watch them both again.
I like Sinister more than Black Phone as well, but they're both great. And I rewatched Black Phone this year, the first one. I haven't seen the sequel yet, but I think I enjoyed it more on the second watch. So
cool.
And I know it's very popular, so... In terms of runners-up, I had a couple. VHS started a cool new trend. Maniac, the remake. You haven't seen either the original or the remake. We'll get on that. But Maniac, the remake with Elijah Wood, is really creepy. Probably some trigger warnings in that one, but really well done. And Elijah, he's not your average hobbit anymore. Frodo.
I'll follow Frodo anywhere. I don't care.
And this was one of the few years I had 3, but I just wanted to make sure we mentioned Grabbers, which we really enjoyed. That's an Irish horror movie.
Yes.
Kind of another alien sci-fi horror movie.
Yeah, that's right. Grabbers.
A lot of fun. Very cheeky.
Mm-hmm.
What did you have for 2013?
I picked Oculus.
Nice.
By Mike Flanagan, or directed by Mike Flanagan, but that was on my top list of what we watched in 25, and so not a surprise, that was my favorite of the movies that came out in 2013. What did you have?
The Conjuring.
Oh, yeah, see, I don't even put those on my list as runners-up because I have no interest, but yes, that makes sense.
It was kind of like the second coming of Insidious, but stronger.
Yeah, exactly.
And
terrifying.
Yeah, it's definitely knows how to to make your skin crawl. I don't think I need to really tell the audience about The Conjuring.
Yeah.
And the one movie I wanted to mention in my runner-up category for 2013 was the Evil Dead remake by Fede Alvarez.
Yes.
I really enjoyed that remake. In fact, I plan to duck behind my shield from all the arrows, and I'm just imagining people with crossbows shooting at me for saying that I might enjoy it better than the original Evil Dead movies, but I could be wrong. Don't come for me. I enjoy those movies too, but I really like the Evil Dead remake.
I really like it when I could be wrong on audio.
Well, just don't take it out of context.
Never.
What did you have for 2014?
I went with The Babadook.
That surprises me.
Again, another movie that's really creepy and scary and makes me cringe, but because of that, I think it is a really good movie. It makes me feel some things.
Well, I went with our first date movie, I believe, which was It Follows.
Right. That was one of my runners-up.
And for me, this is one of the stronger, in terms of at least uniqueness and execution, of the last 25 years. And I've heard I do believe that there is a sequel on the way in the next year or two called They Follow. And I'm excited to see what is done with that. I know some people have some trepidation, and I often do with sequels for movies like this, but I really like the first one. It was kind of doing the sort of the appreciated synth stuff before Stranger Things ever did.
Oh, yeah.
What was the music people called?
I do not have that in my notes.
It'll come to me later.
Yeah, but both It Follows and The Babadook are stories are kind of elevated horror, kind of at the beginning, right, of that. Like, they're not...
At least Babadook.
I think It Follows is too, though. Like, it is a different feel from slashers of the previous decade or so, right? And of course, Micah Monroe does a great job in that. Also, two other movies that came out that year, Creep.
Yep.
And Tusk.
I had those as my runners-up as well.
Another Kevin Smith movie. So it's funny because you do not think of Kevin Smith as a horror director, but I just realized two of his movies are on my list. So,
what did you have for 2015?
This might surprise you, but Green Room.
That's what I had.
Oh, cool. Yeah, of all the movies that came out that year, it was just such a fun, unexpected romp with Jean-Luc Picard.
Yeah, I want to rewatch it. I've only watched
please.
it the one time, but it definitely stood out. Again, very unique and well done in its storytelling. From that year, one of my runners-up I really like was The Final Girls.
Also was one of my runners-up.
And also Deathgasm was my other runner-up.
Do I know that movie?
Yes, we watched it. Might have been one of the early movies we watched on the last drive-in.
Really?
Yes.
I don't remember that very well at all. Oh, wait, was it like heavy metal?
Yeah, it was like a band and about playing a certain note. I think it was Australian.
It was. It definitely was not within, we've watched it, yes, but it was not within our, like when I started, it was before we started tracking. So I had forgotten about it. Hell House LLC also came out that year, which is not on my list, but I think is important. Like, I don't love that movie, but because it's scary, but it also, and it's found footage. It's like found footage and haunted house. It's like both, and I don't like it. But I think it's important. It's such a huge hit. It's got a really big following. So what'd you have for 2016?
Probably the same you did, Train to Busan.
Uh-huh, you got it. It's a great movie.
Fast-moving zombies stuck on a train.
Fast-moving zombies that were mostly dancing. It was trained dancers were the majority of the dancing. If you haven't
seen the movie, they're not dancing.
They're not. I'm sorry. What I meant to say was, instead of relying on CGI, the zombies in this movie were trained, and many of them were professional dancers, and they were trained to move their bodies in a very particular way. And so that, in comparison to other zombie movies where they might have the same end with CGI or with other kinds of effects, I thought it was really cool. And the storyline is fantastic. The acting is great. Tension never lets up. Great zombie movie.
And we've never watched the sequel, Peninsula. I've heard mixed things about it.
Oh, interesting.
It certainly sounds like it's no Train to Busan, but it might be fun.
That might be cool. I'd be willing to add that to our list in 2026. I got to get my numbers up.
And for runners-up, I had 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Mm-hmm.
That was quite a standout. I remember watching it the first time.
Yeah.
Back at our old apartment, I think.
I think we did. And I remember being taken aback by it. I really, really liked it.
And also I had Hush by Mike Flanagan.
Oh, okay.
Small movie in its scope and its budget, but really pushes the tension and, again, quite unique.
I want to watch that one in black and white with the audio. They have there's a cut where you can basically hear what she hears, kind of.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that aspect of it.
I think so. I remember reading about that. Also, 2016 Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Oh, yeah.
Which is worth mentioning. And also Lights Out, which we just watched recently. Again, it scared me a little. I peed a little bit, but it was good.
What did you have for 2017?
2017, Happy Death Day.
Nice. 2017 was a heck of a year again.
There were some choices, man, that year. But yeah, Happy Death Day, directed by Christopher Landon. Super fun film. Some great dialogue. I like the vibe.
One of the few, if not only, PG-13 movies on our list.
Oh, man, that's right. I forgot about that.
Well, I picked what is probably obvious, Get Out.
That's my runner-up, yeah.
Jordan Peele, I don't think much else needs to be said about Get Out.
Yeah. Really
strong in its horror and in its moments of comedy. But, we'd be selling ourselves short, I feel like, if we also didn't mention that It Chapter 1 came out in 2017 as well.
Right.
Talk about strong Stephen King adaptations.
Holy smokes.
And of course, that's led to Chapter 2 and then Welcome to Derry. But I think It Chapter 1 still holds the box office record for horror movies.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that. Also that year, Devil's Candy by Sean Byrne. I'm a big Sean Byrne fan. Loved Ones, etc. And It Comes at Night. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah, I rewatched that and didn't love it. But
okay.
But it could have been the wrong atmosphere.
I remember we thought it was going to be something different than it was. It was still good, but it was not quite what we expected in terms of a horror movie. So,
yeah, we saw that one in the theater as well.
So I wanted to bring that up just because I remember us watching that. What about 2018?
I went with A Quiet Place.
Me too.
Really, really great.
Which is tough because there are some other really good movies that year.
Yeah, movies that other people will probably be mad that we didn't put as our top picks, but they're probably our runners-up.
Yeah, like Hereditary.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what else came out that year? Mandy, which I want to rewatch with Nicolas Cage.
That was a bit of a trippier movie.
Yes. And Annihilation, directed by Alex Garland, who, of course, involved in 28 Years Later.
What did you have for 2019?
Ready or Not.
Yeah, that's what I had.
Yeah, that's a hard one to top in terms of our particular favorites in the subgenres. Yeah, Samara Weaving, man, she's great.
And I just so far, I don't think the team of Radio Silence who wrote and directed this movie has let me down.
Not once. I think all of their movies so far have been great. But of course, we also had Midsummer in 2019.
Yep.
Another Ari Aster film, another very popular movie, and also a brutal, devastating exploration of grief and identity.
And there was another Jordan Peele movie, Us.
There was. That was also on my runners-up list. So yeah, that was the 2019 trifecta right there. What did you do for 2020? I'm really curious.
I went with Freaky.
Okay, I did not even have that on my list. I must have missed that.
With Christopher Landon.
Okay.
But this time R-rated and, sort of a take on Freaky Friday and Friday the 13th. I'm sure they tossed around the idea maybe of calling it Freaky Friday the 13th.
Oh, yeah.
Or at least that's what I would have tossed around for ideas. But Freaky it's a lot of fun. It's funny. It's gory. It's all of the above.
Yeah, big fan. I chose The Invisible Man.
That was my runner-up.
Directed by Lee Wanell, who, of course, wrote Saw. And this was I was surprised by how much I liked this. Of course, The Invisible Man is a story that's been told for centuries at this point, I feel like, from the original story. But this is a really great exploration of it that also includes some looking at technology and relationships. And yeah, really, really great.
Really solid and really scary.
Yes, very scary, like surprisingly scary. Really, yeah, man, I'm just thinking about it. I'm like, oh, we should watch that. A couple other ones that people may not have heard of that came out that year that I think we enjoyed. Possessor, directed by Brandon Cronenberg.
Oh, yeah.
Where an assassin, so some body horror because it's a Cronenberg thing, but some weird stuff because it's Brandon. So yeah, definitely recommended. And then also another Nicolas Cage vehicle, Color Out of Space.
Oh, yeah, that one was wacky.
Which is based on
H.P. Lovecraft.
H.P. Lovecraft. And I actually read the book afterwards, or read the novella because it's a novella. And that was really fun. But that was a cool, really cool looking movie too. So a little Lovecraftian horror for you in 2020. You may be surprised by my choice for 2021, but it's Malignant.
That was my runner-up.
Okay. Yeah, Malignant. Kind of a cool, little bit creepy, little bit scary, but I just remember I really liked it. It turns out James Wan is the top of my director list. I tend to really like his stuff.
Even though you're terrified by his movies.
Even though I'm terrified by his movies, I can appreciate the ones, some of them really stood out for me, and the other ones just make me want to hide.
Well, I went a little bit off the beaten path for 2021, and maybe I missed something that I should have put here. But based on vibes alone, I went with Fear Street Part 1, 1994.
Yes. Yeah. I almost added that to my list. 2021 was a tough one. I was surprised there weren't more straight up horror movies, but I also had Last Night in Soho, an Edgar Wright movie that we liked a lot, and then the Candyman remake.
Yeah, that was strong too.
That was good. The original Candyman is a big favorite of mine, but I really liked the remake. So,
but if you're looking for some nostalgia, Fear Street 1994 will definitely fill that void for you, and it's a pretty solid trilogy.
Yeah, agreed.
And actually, there's a fourth movie that came out this year, Fear Street Prom Queen. I didn't think it was as strong as its previous entries, but anyway, we're checking out.
2022, holy shit. Did you have a hard time with this? Because I had a hard time with 2022.
Yeah, I had to just go with the movie that struck me first that year.
Which was?
X.
Oh, wow. Yep.
Another Ty West movie. And not far behind it would have been Pearl, which also came out that same year, which, the first two parts of the X trilogy.
Yeah, I have those as runners up. I actually picked Speak No Evil, the 2022 version, the Danish version.
I can't even get you to watch the American one, so I'm surprised.
Because, and again, this is not necessarily something I enjoyed, but Speak No Evil is one of the most messed up movies I've ever seen. And it holy crap. Like it just, I know unfortunately that the American version does some things differently. We can watch the American version, but the Scandinavian version was just so brutal. I think it was really a fascinating exploration of politeness and relationship and just, oh man, what a movie. But also that year, I'm just going to name them: Barbarian, The Menu, Smile, and Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
And Nope.
And Nope, that's right. Like so many movies that year that I think people should watch. Actually, The Menu, I have friends that don't love horror, but they actually watched The Menu and reached out to me. They were like, hey, have you seen this? I was like, of course I've seen that. And it's great. So if you're looking for movies for horror, people that don't like horror, but maybe might if they just saw the right movie, The Menu could be a really good one for them.
What about 2023?
Talk to me.
Oh, yeah. I had that as a runner-up. I went with, just to be a little bit different, I went with Thanksgiving. We got to see that in the theater, which was nice. It was good to see contemporary slasher, probably the subgenre I'm drawn to the most. I don't know whether it's my favorite, but it's certainly the one that I'm drawn to the most. And I just had a lot of fun with Thanksgiving. But obviously, we've talked about Talk to Me.
Oh, yeah.
That's certainly up there. But again, it was another strong year. Scream 6 came out that year.
When Evil Lurks.
Oh, yeah.
Came out. And then also Infinity Pool, another Brandon Cronenberg movie we really liked. And of course, Evil Dead Rise.
Oh, I didn't even see that. I also put Godzilla -1.
Oh, right. That was such a cool movie.
Speaking about movies that have black and white versions, I have not seen the black and white version of that, but That was a cool story.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, no, and I also think that it's hard the last couple years to pick movies because we've been so much more connected to what's coming out in the genre because we've been so focused on it. And so, maybe had we been doing this podcast for a lot longer, we would have more movies for all these. But we're up to 2024.
Yes, I had to pick what I picked for our top 24 of 2024, which was The Substance.
Oh, right, because that was your top movie that came out. That's right.
But for runners-up, really love Oddity.
Oddity was really good.
And Smile, too.
Yes.
Really strong entry for me. I think I prefer that over the original, and I like them both a lot. So
I really liked Abigail in 2024, as well as Longlegs.
Mm-hmm.
Was really fun. And then also, I was curious what you thought about In a Violent Nature. I couldn't remember what your take was on that.
I just put that at the top of my rewatch list.
Oh, no way.
Because I was listening to some other podcast, and they were talking about how much they loved it, especially upon the second watch, when they weren't wondering as much what it was about. So I'm interested to watch again. I know it was at the top of a lot of people's lists for 2024, so I definitely want to check it out again.
Right. And of course, 2025, y'all know what we picked.
Bring her back.
Bring her back for 2025.
And otherwise, we beat 2025 to death over the last couple of weeks. So
we really have. If you're curious, if you want some recent horror movies, listen to the last couple episodes. But if you want something a little older, hopefully you've heard something in here that will tickle your fancy, pique your interest, so to speak.
And before we go, I think it's time for the demo of your song, Grapefruit.
I'm so excited.
Let's roll it.
To keep you safe from the wide world, I'll keep you far from the words that cut, the looks that bite. Your shield I'll be from day into night. Truth I'll tell when your safety I can assure. Your protection from a world so cruel. I tried so hard to keep you safe, but lost that battle so dear. My one and only job, I failed to be your protection from fear. Truth I'll hide until your safety I can assure. Bring you back to a world so cruel. I never knew how far you'd go, how deep your love would dive. And I never asked for you to take my hand and save my life. Truth is all I ever asked of you. Let me go, and I'll come back to you.
All right.
Oh, you're so good.
Thank you, love. I don't know why you're complimenting me. It's your song.
I know, but you made it sound like that, so.
Well, we're losing light. We're going to head out.
Don't we need to do one more thing?
Oh, thank you for reminding me.
I thought so.
That was a close call.
That was. You were ready to go ahead just out the door. we have a missing spot on our wheel.
Yes, because weeks ago we spun next week's episode, which is going to be Final Destination.
Yes.
But that means there's a hole in the wheel, in this very scary wheel.
There's
wheel
a
and the
hole.
hole in my phone.
There's a hole in the wheel, dear Johnny, dear Johnny. You know that game, right? I
Mine
won't do
was
it.
better. All right. I'm going to spin the feeder wheel to see what's going to make the Wheel of Horror.
Okay, spinning the
which is
feeder
going
wheel.
to be eligible for an upcoming deep dive.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
And like I said, I'm going to talk like Mr. Rogers.
Because the sound editing software will get rid of the clickety-clackety of the
Sometimes,
wheel.
yeah.
Sometimes. It is a really
I'm spinning
satisfying.
the wheel. It's loud this time, it seems like, so maybe you'll hear it, but we're spinning. What is going to join our Wheel of Horror? It is going to be Sleepaway Camp.
Oh, yes. Oh, we will have so much to talk about if we hit Sleepaway Camp. I think Sleepaway Camp might be one of the first non-mainstream movies that we've done a deep dive on. Would you say that's fair?
Potentially.
There's one of 13 movies, so, we'll get to it at some point. But Hopefully. Yeah, no, I think that it's not a major franchise. It's not like a clap, but it is, holy smokes. Let's hope we spin that soon. Super fun. All right, cool. Now it's Losing Light. And now...
Yep, check us out on social media at OMNLD Pod.
Yes.
And comment, subscribe, do all those things. If you like what you hear, just take a moment to do that for us.
Yeah, and if you know someone who likes horror and or original music and or deep dives, deep reads of cultural texts, that's what we do. So send this to them so that they can hang out with us and nerd out too.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Thank you for listening. And as always, we will talk to you soon.
All right, see ya.